Hi there, Deacon John Wilson, Education Enrichment Director from West Angeles Church, covering all things educational, even related to politics or all levels of education as they affect your youth and even you. And I want to talk about law schools a little bit, the med law school, something that's happened at Berkeley Law this week. But I'm really talking about what it gives me a chance to talk about to you, which is our opinion on EEP of AI. Now, my preferred AI is Gemini. You probably use ChatGPT as the most popular one. I have a lot of concerns about AI, but I tell you one of them I don't have. Maybe I'll do a separate video on my concerns about AI. I'm going to talk about one concern if you're with your student that I have and how we're going to attack that, but it needs to be a separate video on what are the pros and cons for AI. That may even be a three-part series. I don't know. But right now, I want to talk about Berkeley Law School's decision regarding AI and what it means. Let me tell you before I go into the article, and this will be a short video. My belief about AI is that it's a necessary tool for students to help them to learn faster. Now, I know that teachers are opposed to it, teachers' unions are opposed to it, which, by the way, would give me a sense that if unions leaderships are opposed to it, not so much teachers. I think union leadership, I know teachers that are using it to help them. We've used it in our program to improve our tutoring ability, to accelerate it and make it more efficient. So how can I sit up here and criticize it? In fact, parents, listen closely. This summer, I'm not going to avoid the issue. In one of our classes that I'll talk about in my next video, I hope, in one of our classes this summer, I'm going to talk about the ethical use of AI and how to use AI to study. It's not me, I'm bringing in an expert to talk about it. It's important that we handle this AI thing wisely. Now, I don't want students cheating with AI and doing assignments with AI, but if teachers are more smarter about AI, i.e., do traditional tests, no devices allowed, no notes, skip a seat, no talking, and do clean tests, it will reveal the student that's doing their assignments with AI. And why are you making assignments count enough to pass the course? It should be the testing that drives that. See, simple things like that. I don't see why teachers are complaining about AI. And they could use AI to make themselves more efficient, to do outlines more efficiently that they can correct and update. I don't understand the educational system being opposed to AI. Now, when there's cheating with AI, like you're going to hear in a moment with this law school, there was another way to handle this. And I'll talk about that right now. Stand by. So there's a little controversy at UC Berkeley Law School. Berkeley Law severely restricts the use of AI following academic misconduct. Well, let's see what that restriction is all about. Seemed like I read an article earlier that were encouraging it. Now, before I get into this, let's get into it. The UC Berkeley School of Law has adopted a new policy that restricts the use of AI in academic work submitted for credit to ensure focus. Okay, that's fine. Students shouldn't use AI to submit assignments unless the teacher allows it and gives boundaries for it. But my goodness, they have detectors for AI that can be used. You should tell the students you're going to use those and then use them. That's how this was uncovered. The policy prohibits AI and the use of conceptualization. I don't know about that. Revision, mm, translation and exams. Okay, I agree. And other activities. I don't know what that is. It also prohibits uploading course materials into generative AI systems. I guess to make them easier to understand and give them summaries. Students are permitted to use AI in identifying sources for papers. Okay. Well, wait a minute now. You're not going to let students develop study materials from the course materials. Uh, that's going to accelerate learning. They're going to learn the material. If you're giving honest tests, essay tests like they do in law school, how are you going to cheat? I guess you're concerned they're learning faster. Well, then you need to teach them more information. This is what AI is meant to do. It's meant to increase the efficiency of the learner and the teacher. I don't know. This first part, I don't know. Policy violations of student conduct, blah, 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 blah. Now listen to this. Students have to form the elemental skills of lawyering, which they can do, which is case reading, analysis, and cogent argument. They don't have to. In law offices, I hear and know lawyers tell me, and their paralegals tell me they're using AI now. Aren't you inhibiting your students from being able to do research for a law firm using AI? This stuff is going on now in law school. That's why, listen closely, that's why it's so hard for students to get jobs. I've had 3 students go to law school. I got 5 in there right now. The 3 students are not even working in lawyers' offices. One of them did catch on with the DA's offices, and I think it's in Illinois. But those private law firms are starting to use AI, and they're laying people off. And we're going to say in law school, we're not going to allow the students to learn with AI? I don't know. I'm just going to say I'm opposed to that. They can develop the skills of lawyering faster, which is case reading. Case reading, okay, great. So the AI reads it and summarizes it in some cases. That means they can read more cases faster. They're going to be better lawyers. Analysis and cogent argumentation. That's my argument here. If somebody's seeing this video and you're a lawyer and you agree with what Berkeley did, leave me a comment below. I just want to see how widespread that is. Some of you may have strong opinions on that. I bet you do. Why don't you give me a comment on that below, and I'd appreciate it. Some of you might think I'm making too much out of nothing. I don't know, but I don't think I am. Because next what's going to happen, it's going to go to undergraduate, then to high school. These students are already using it. Why not teach them how to use it ethically? Why not change our classroom instruction standards to make the students do more since they can do it faster? That way you can help them to learn how to use AI. What a novel concept, schools teaching students how to learn. If one does not develop the foundational reasoning skills, the result is a lawyer who has outsourced their reasoning into AI. No, that's not true. Remember, you're going to still test them and grade them. Test them on more. Make them do more. Come on. Maybe the thing is these teachers can't do that. Let me see if we can find out what the scandal was. You can read this. Christina Pullen, a rising second-year student at Berkeley Law, emphasized the importance of skills such as critical thinking, strategizing, and organizing one's own thoughts in order to set oneself apart from the technology as it becomes more saturated in the workplace. See, the document states that students must disclose all authorized AI use. Of course, they can't disclose unauthorized use. I do wish students were asked more. Yeah. I wish there were more town halls to discuss it. Yeah, did they discuss it at all? Was there any? They were blindsided by this. You know, look at this comment. I wish that we weren't caught blindsided because when I found out about these things, these changes in the news, the firms will ask us about what this means for our practice in their summers. Wow, it's going to affect students in the workplace. And that's really stressful because we don't know what to say about this. These are students already working in law offices that are going for their law degree. All right, I'll include a description of this below. I'm going to read up more on this and find out what was the scandal that exactly that caused this, because that may have something to do with it. It just may. But I think this concept is going to spread because teachers are way too opposed to this. Matter of fact, I saw a talk by, I can't remember the lady's name, it was over at National Teachers Union. She spoke at a convention and was just totally laying AI out. And I think obviously the teachers unions don't like AI. They're scared it will replace them. I replace the teachers. But why not unions teach these students how to use AI in course development, how to take into account honest, fair tests. Testing needs to become an art. Maybe assignments should only be worth a smaller percentage that they've got, since they've got all these great tools to learn. Maybe you can test them a little harder. I don't accept that you just don't that act like AI doesn't exist. What's that going to do to students in the job market? All right, I think I've made my point here. Again, in the description block below, I have the article. And if I find an article that tells about the scandal that caused it, I will post that below. If I don't, I'll wait and find it and do a separate video on it. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.